questions you want. If you're watching this in the review, recast, whatever you call it, definitely say hi, say what's up, check out some of the stuff on the. So I want to make him a little bit better, and how would I do that? I think right here I want to make his mouth a little bit more tangible. So what I want to do is draw like a line right here, just little thin lines over here and try to make the mouth seem a little bit more 3D, right? I want it to be a little bit more tangible, so maybe I'll draw a line over here as like a fold in the back of it, giving him a little bit more 3D look. If you know who this character is, let me know. It's in the, I did it on here, I think, initially. It's a combination. I don't remember who, though, which is funny. And right here, I want to give it a little bit more dark around this area to give it more punch. Because with a character like this, you want it to be kind of punchy. You want it to be a little bit valuable because, a little bit like that because he's a dragon, some form of dragon. And I think doing it that way is going to be really efficient. It's going to make it look cooler. It's going to be more playing toward the audience that a character like this would aim at for the most part. Curve, curve, curve over here. Curve, curve, curve as well. Drawing these little curved lines all over the place. Maybe some dark here in the mouth in order to kind of make it. Thank you for the thumbs up. I appreciate it. Let me see if I can see the comments, by the way. I don't know if I can see the comments. Hold on. I have to do a setting here real fast. So, let's see. Live comments. Okay. Oh, thanks so much, Deli. Now I see the comment. Thank you, Deli. You're awesome. I appreciate it. But yeah, definitely. Let me see. Okay, cool. All right. Let's go back in here. I want to give this, so see how there's a fold on the neck? It's kind of that snake belly of like dragons. I want to make that a little bit better, or I want to give it a little more oomph. So I'm going to draw it right here and give it a little bit of a thickness in that crack right there. See that? Same thing over here, but I don't want to make it like stripes across his chest, because if I do that, it's going to be weird. I don't want to make it like stripes. So I'm trying really hard. So see how this is small right there? That's small. This is a little bit bigger. And then maybe this one will be a little bit thinner and there won't be much. I want to make it look organic because that's kind of what we're doing, right? We're drawing an organic creature. Otherwise, it's going to look too much like he's wearing a striped shirt, and you don't want that. Curve over here. And along this, I'm going to draw little cracks in that snake skin he's got going on around that chest area. So I'll draw a little line up here maybe, and I want to make sure to make these lines not all the same, because if they're the same, it's gonna again look like he's wearing some sort of colored fabric shirt or something weird like that. The whole point is to be as organic as you can. What's this you're drawing? It's a dragon. I'm drawing a dragon right now. It is actually an old drawing that I did on here. It was merging, I think, two characters, which I forgot. I believe it was mixed with, oh my gosh, was it a dragon plus, oh my gosh, what is that thing called? Poppy Playhouse character? What is that character's name with the teeth? Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Oh man. Sorry, I obviously I've drawn it a ton of times, but Huggy Wuggy. There you go. Huggy Wuggy. Don't forget to hit the like, by the way. I appreciate it. If you hit the like, it's good for the live in general, and it's good just for the replay value of the video if you guys ever want to see it. A lot of this stuff right here, this is going to be more like really specific techniques. I'm debating on what I want the lives to be exactly. Obviously, it's a way I can communicate directly with people. That's one big thing. But another thing is I really want to teach more specific techniques as opposed to just draw along with me. So a lot of this is going to be like pulling little lines up here to create texture in that area. Maybe there's too much texture down here right now. Maybe we got to move it. We got to more focus it back up here. Maybe a darker area around this area. A lot of this stuff is going to be relevant, and I kind of wanted a place to do it. Line over here. I think there needs to be a little bit more going on top. Usually there's less going on top because the sun usually hits from above. So it's going to create a little bit of a shadow. Even if it's a subtle shadow, in a high area, maybe like this. We'd throw maybe some dots. And you have to remember the tool that you're working with, right? I'm working with a marker, and the marker is, I'm using a fine point marker, by the way. That's really important because I just see, I want to fold over here along the eye because there tends to be folds along the eye right there. The reason I want that is I want to be able to draw these little thin lines where I want them to. And a big part of that is being able to control stuff. And the way I control that is having like a fine point marker. Let's zoom in on this guy a little bit, okay? All right, let's zoom in. I think something I'm missing right off the bat is I would like a little bit more dimension in the character. So there's going to be teeth in the back there, right? So what I want to do is I want to do this, and it's so easy. You can do this with any drawing. Put in some of those shapes and darken it out in the back, okay? When you do that, let's put one over here as well. When you do that, it makes it look like there's a back part of his mouth, and it creates a lot of depth that you would not have had beforehand. It's good to do that. Helps your character out, helps the believability, even though the character is like a science fiction style character, it helps with the believability of the character that you want. The tongue itself has its own little texture as well, but you don't want to overdo it. You don't want to look like there's scales on the tongue unless that's part of, you know, what you're drawing. What you could do here is maybe draw, I don't know, actually, leave it, you can leave it clean, or you can draw a little, I guess tongues do have this sort of dotted texture on it a little. Whatever it is that you do, try to make it look different than the scales around it. And that's if you're putting a lot of detail. You don't have to put all this detail at all times. Sorry if I blurred the image there. Okay, let's go in, give them a little bit of color, okay? I'm gonna go in and I'm going with orange and then maybe with red, and then we'll see. I'm gonna go with orange right here with a Prismacolor, and I'm gonna just give them a little bit of a touch of color. And it's gonna be all toward the bottom there. The reason I'm doing the bottom is because I think it's going to look a little bit better to put this. So there's something called chroma, okay? Chroma is basically how dark your color is based on the color. So for example, if I put baby blue on here, the chroma is not that dark, meaning baby blue will be near white, right? Light gray is near white. But something like, let's say, purple, like a dark purple, the chroma is going to be too strong. It's going to look like it has darkness and value to it, and that's based on just straight up the color of it. Because there's color, and then there's value. Value would be how dark something is, and color is just the color. Color's the hue. Hue is basically another word for color. So just something to remember. Value is darkness. Okay, value is darkness, just how dark something is. That's it. Not counting anything, whatever. Not counting the color. And then hue is literally another word for color. And you want to balance these things out. And chroma, like I said, is kind of the darkness inherent in that specific color. And every color has kind of a hue to it. I'm sorry, hue has a chroma score on it. So just look, like, Google it as well. You can go to chroma, go to color chroma and like see what that is. It helps you out when you're coloring anything. It does. It helps so much when you're coloring anything. So just something to kind of remember when you're doing that. Thanks so much for the follows. I appreciate it. Thanks for the likes. Definitely hit the like if you're here, or if you already did, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Helps the live out in general. I want to go live more often, and my plan is to go, okay, this sounds kind of ambitious, right? But my plan is to go live every day. I don't know if that's too ambitious or not, but I'd like to go live every day. I've gone live like 3 times this week, I believe. And yeah, hopefully it goes better and better and better and better. Let me see, what color do I want the tongue? The tongue, I want it to be definitely reddish, but like pinkish. That's a big thing with there. And let me do that over here. I don't know if it's going to match enough, though. See, the chroma on this is too light. You can barely see it. I can barely see this on camera. But it's just something that I'm working toward, and I think it's, you know, it'll be okay. Another thing to keep in mind is when you're using markers, these things dry lighter than you would think. That's kind of an issue too. They just dry lighter. I really wish they dried darker, but they tend to just dry way lighter than you want them to. Line over here, kind of filling this out, trying to find kind of the darkness here. And when you're putting stuff down too, like if you're gonna put it down, because the wetness will change over time for this stuff. Okay, go here. All right, let's go to kind of a lighter color as well. Maybe like a kind of yellow, and I'm thinking about that as well. Let's go to a lighter color over here. It's a little bit lighter, but not like so light that it's completely white on the page, but definitely has some good values. I remember another thing too, when you're drawing stuff like dragons and then some, one of the funnest things about it, I don't know who else likes doing this, one of the funnest things about it is that you are kind of, it's hard to mess up. Because the reason it's hard to mess up is because, these things are fictional creatures and you can kind of do a lot with them. And things that go on with the texture are so fun to mess with. It feels like there's no rules. You just have this free playground of like, what am I gonna put in? What am I gonna do? And so that whole thing is just addicting, in my opinion. It's so addicting to more or less just kind of work on some of these characters like that. Whoopsie daisy. Getting that yellow back in. Just kind of putting it down. The problem is a lot of my markers are like they're kind of, sorry, my dog's barking. Can you hear it? The problem is that a lot of my dogs are, sorry, a lot of my dogs. Wow. The problem is that a lot of my markers are kind of running out of ink, so it is an issue. Basically, it's a mixture of Shimu and I think it's a mixture of Shimo from Godzilla versus Kong, and I think what is that character from? Oh man, what is that character from Poppy Playtime that I literally just mentioned a minute ago? It's a character from Poppy Playtime named Huggy Wuggy. It's like a mixture of those two characters. That's why he's got crazy eyes. But I'm gonna go in with a black over here. I think that's gonna be. I want to darken out some of these spikes, but 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 not entirely though. Not entirely. If I dark it out completely, you're not even gonna be able to see it. And that's kind of the challenge of a lot of this stuff too, right? Like when you look at characters like Venom, for example, when you look at someone like Venom, he's entirely dark. So you're trying to find this white line. At least you're leaving it blank for the moment. You can always put in blue or purple or some color like that in order to make it look a little bit more glowy in there, but you're always kind of doing that. Don't forget to hit the like. I appreciate it. Thanks so much. If you guys want to see me go live more often, I want to go live. Honestly, I just want to go live more often for myself. I think it's fun to do it. A lot of times, though, my biggest restriction with going live on this channel is the time, right? I got to do it before, like, I want to do it anywhere from like 1 to 4 or something. Because if I do it too late, there's literally nobody on, right? I got like 1 or 2 people usually, and it's awesome. I love having people here. But when I go on like late at night, because I'm a night owl, I can usually only do that on TikTok and stuff. Because on TikTok, it's okay, cool. I like the way this looks right here. See, now I want to vary it up a little bit. Well, thanks so much, random guy. I appreciate it. Thank you for the support. I want to get more involved again. I just feel like I've been doing the channel on autopilot for a while, and I really want to get more involved. I want to and kind of experiment with a channel. Okay, it needs more color at the top over here, or at least the nostril right there. I want more dark right there. I want more emphasis on that nostril. But I do think it needs more color at the top. And I don't know, I think I might just put it in with pencil, to be honest. I think a lot of pencil is going to be, let me see. Let me get a orange pencil or a, let's see. You got me into the, well, thanks, random guy. Oh my gosh, that's so nice. Thank you so much. It's weird that I've done this for so long that some people are saying that. I literally have gotten some people telling me stuff like that. And the only one with, oh, okay. Well, thanks. You're so nice. Let's see, like I'm taking this. I don't know if it comes out on camera though. That's kind of what I'm worried about. Sometimes I do stuff like this and it literally doesn't come out on camera, and I'm like, dang, man, it's too light. It's too light to come out on camera. But I'm trying to not grind it in too hard over here. I'm just trying to give it a little bit of flavor, right? Thanks for the like, I appreciate it. I want to give it a little bit of flavor right here. You're pumping some life into it. The way I see it is, like I said, I don't use markers very much, but I love markers in combination with colored pencil, because colored pencil, you can get in there into specific details and kind of like solve that. I think in ways that with markers that you really sometimes cannot. I mean, again, I'm just probably not skilled enough with a marker yet, but that's just kind of my opinion as well. It's kind of using that. All right. Pretty good, pretty good. I want to color in these teeth too, actually. I think these teeth, I don't know, actually, I kind of like them white. I'm not really sure. Either way, though, I'm not sure if I'm going to have time. I have to go help with family stuff, so I have to get off this live. But thank you so much. I appreciate you guys being around here. You guys mean everything. You really do. Like, this channel is my bread and butter, and yeah, thank you so much for everybody that's so nice to me. So thanks so much, guys. I'll let you guys go, and I appreciate it. And I'll see you hopefully tomorrow. If not, I'll see you guys the next day. See you later.